Good evening. Welcome to the Northfield City Budget Workshop Meeting for March 2nd, 2023. This meeting has been properly advertised according to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231 in the Press of Atlantic City on Saturday, February 11th, 2023. May I have a flag salute led by Mayor Chow?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, public for which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty and justice.
Roll call, Mrs. Fucci. Here. Mrs. Carfagno. Here. Mr. Deweese.
Here.
Mr. Leeds. Mr. Notaro.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Palestina.
Here.
Mayor Chow.
Here.
And I'll defer back to Council President Palestina.
So we've added, I think on the operating side, these items that we've added is the recreation donations and the personnel. They're already in here. Is there anything else in the operating budget? Anyone?
The only thing I wanted to confirm, and I wasn't sure about this, for the fire volunteer increases approved? I didn't write anything down in my notes. They're in there, by the way. I just wanted.
They were approved.
They were.
Yeah, for the,
Okay.
on the nine. Yeah, on the 9 line. On the, yeah.
Okay, I did put that in there, but I couldn't recall if the final decision was made on that. And as we were discussing at the meeting, the fire suppression came up with the capital. So instead of moving money into the capital improvement fund, I just increased that line I had for the facilities in the budget to $75,000, and for anticipated minor building repairs that we talked about, the football tower renovation, the Little League field renovation, the fire suppression system. And I also had a request from OEM for a storage trailer for $6,500. Does it make sense to put that in a bond? So a small amount, we don't want to finance that, something like
Yeah.
that. So I just put that all in there. So that money would be available after the budget is adopted to do some of those smaller investment items. The other thing I wanted to mention, you probably all saw it, that the governor put $200 million into the state budget for additional one-time funding for municipalities to help offset the cost of health insurance. Now, when, how, and if that money is going to come back from the legislator, I don't know. But there will also be a provision where some money also will be refunded back to the employees. Don't know what the mechanism of that will be yet, and it's all kind of developing. So we'll probably wait as long as we can to do the final adoption of our budget in case we need to do an amendment to bring that money in. And then we'll have to decide what we're going to do at that point in time. Obviously, whatever money we get will be good. Right now it's at 1.5 cents. I don't know if feeling of the council would do that. We can factor further or put that money away for next year somehow. When does the budget have to be? We have to introduce by the end of March, and we have to adopt by April. But if we don't have our final state aid figures, they're not going to adopt. So, like every other year, everything is still in flux.
Okay, they give you a time.
They didn't, because the
Right.
budget, the governor just put in his budget message, and so, I guess CCS, CCA and DLGS is looking at everything, and then we usually do our state aid figures before the legislature finally adopts the budget, their state budget. So, whatever we get would be good, hopefully we will. And don't forget the budget, even though it's a resolution, it requires 28 days between introduction and final. So it's not one meeting and the next meeting, there's going to be a 28-day gap.
Yeah, so unless the state changes the deadline, we wouldn't be, we're still under that, we're still under that.
each time, and if it's a significant amount of money, we're going to have to amend our budget, publish, hold another hearing, so it'll be pushed back to the end of April, probably be May. This is good for operations, but if you're gonna get additional money.
Yeah. Do we know where the OEM trailers, where they plan on putting a trailer? Where is trailer? I don't know.
But
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was doing.
Actually, it was, in their budget request, for capital. When I moved some of the smaller projects into the operating budget, so we didn't have to finance these smaller things. It's for phones and equipment and those types of things. Just because we put it in here now and our operating budget doesn't mean,
Right.
this is just the first preliminary phase, and then you would approve the purchase moving forward.
We all have another. Do we talk about, we're gonna have another meeting anyway.
Do we have a trailer already?
Yes, we do.
What's that?
It's Hartwell Way in the water, where the old one.
Yeah. Where the shed is.
So there's just more stuff.
And then just got two, that's your. Theoretically.
No,
Oh, it is functional, yes, and it's, but
Well,
yeah,
I
no,
know,
but it did have to, it's hooked up to be a mobile station.
The one we have is functional.
Yes.
Not speaking for them, but I think one of them is used more as a command center as well.
Yeah.
As opposed to. Yeah. they're all in one. Yeah, and that also. That. Laid out.
Right.
They have the command center out there. So this one here, the command center.
Yeah. They use it quite a bit on.
But they're the storage material.
It's, usually not with the force there, but it's really one of the. Okay.
Greg, could there be enough room? I don't know if they need to, but really, would there be enough room to put another, storage shed right next to the police one? If that's all they need is just storage.
They want to vote.
You may need it to be mobile.
Yeah, you know, generators, the overhead lights, that's why I'm not thinking for it. Okay.
I asked him just now, he said next to the other one, unless someone has a better idea, possibly public works, I said, where would you store it? This is for the traffic signal generators. So those are-
They should be stored inside.
Operating budget prior to the meeting. You want to have one? Forward, then we're gonna pushing for this year, but I wanted to point out there was an article in Sentinel. February 22nd about Upper Township. Part of the function. I believe I've mentioned it for the last couple of years. Probably a great attraction. We did have a good track put in at Birchgrove Park. And the article comments about how they train people into the town and utilize their businesses, to bring attraction that brings people from out of town to the municipality, helps the business. This year, my plan this year is to put together some type of plan for the next year.
Certainly have the water answer, so
That could be a problem.
might need a boat,
That might be a problem. It is something that I
collect the
plan
water.
on sitting and exploring from there.
Well, you already have the 2022, we already have the truck. And that's what we do. We already have the sewer improvement. Good. Next. Okay, public works, the fire department, and public works. Which one, and then you know what the thought is? Yep. The 3,500, like, the public works as well.
Those are all the public works.
Okay, all
Yeah, and when, Timmy that, he doesn't believe he's gonna be able to fund trucks this year.
Yeah,
So this might be pushed back.
the, okay.
That's going to be here, or we can put the financing in place, so when they do become available, that can be something we can move on, maybe to get ahead of somebody else waiting for financing. So just wanted to point out, this is our 5-year plan, because our 2012 bond is retiring. And I put that on page 7 there, I don't retire in 2028. But we are retiring $4.7 million in debt, but that bond has 2 and 3% interest right now as the interest rate environment stands for municipal issuances that are tax exempt or running around 5% or something. So that's going to reduce our borrowing capacity. We wanted to try and keep our debt level. So it's something we're going to want to keep in the back of our minds as we move forward and keep an eye on the economy and what's going on. So these are the projects that the department submitted. I just had one addition this afternoon. We got an estimate back from the architect regarding the roof here at City Hall, the spot on the single roof. It looks like the total is going to be about $300,000. We won't know for sure until we go out to bid. It's about $80,000 more than what we had put in from our ARPA money in the budget last year. I'm gonna figure out how to finance that as well.
Did they separate that quote out, or did he
Yeah.
separate that? Is it primarily the fire roof that's the major cost?
About 174 for that side.
Yeah.
31 in both sides, but from what I understand, and Quinn is here, he can probably explain better, where they abut is the issue, so we have to do both roofs at the same time.
Yeah.
We were afraid that if we replaced one and not the other, then we would end up with issues down the road.
And the fire is a total tear off, is that?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, demolish and remove existing modified.
Yeah. It's got the stone.
Demolish.
That's a tough roof to get rid of.
Right, so we really won't know until we go out for bid, prices are just so crazy sometimes.
Original one was 200.
Prevailing wage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does increase.
So, so we'll figure out a way to do that. We do have money in our capital improvement fund that we can pull the $80,000 out instead of financing that. We can self-finance something.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think we have any choice.
Oh,
Yeah,
most of the money, so we just have to come up with the 80,000. We're probably doing ordinance maybe for 100 for the budget factor.
Right.
Always cancel it out if we don't use it, but it costs more money to go through the process. and to
Again.
Put the financing in place. Just because we put the funding in place doesn't mean we have to use it.
And the original quote that I was
is
It's close
over
to,
5 years old. I mean, this has been a discussion for a while.
yeah.
I think it's 1 5 years. With that, it's all that much. Especially in the last few years, doesn't sound that absurd. But it's still. expensive.
Done now before we have to do it.
Yeah,
I think we're there.
Well,
I think we are there.
It would.
When it rains, it's pretty bad. Fire out. Especially for fun. Let's have a roof over it.
it's workers.
Well, actually it's leaking where, I guess they call it their ready room, I guess, where they
Yeah.
they have their living space. And we had put money aside to redo that area, but it doesn't make sense to redo that room, why it's still leaking.
Right.
piece of truck not getting one. Just the guy.
I also added the $50,000 for the fencing that was discussed at the last meeting. Some items in here, I don't know if we were applying for recreation grants for some of them, for the pickleball and the for those parks, carries and the pavilions, are they still valid private?
There's still that project right there.
And 55. No, the CCA is getting more funding for the local recreation grant. We didn't get any last year. There's gonna be more opportunities to apply for that one.
Yeah, we actually like to talk about looking at the whole sports complex. You know. In itself, just to maybe get some other improvements out there, some really case to the fields and other fences and. The fields are much smaller and we need the regrading and repairs, so. That's probably a conversation we haven't needed, but. We were thinking about. Big picture of recreation. How worried are we? For the grants. Yeah. I was talking to the really, okay, so.
Have we ever looked into having a recreation facility in the village?
We get a department.
An actual indoor.
Like with a field and all that good stuff.
Not necessarily.
Field house.
It would be something like that people can use. Teams can use it with having to use.
I think that's where, that's part of that is where. The discussion with pickleball and
Basketball.
courts is a basketball court is one of the
Maybe,
issues that's been discussed.
maybe like a cut, some type of covered
Area.
without sides, covered basketball court or something.
And it's been discussed, but it always comes down to what the cost of it is.
And where we're gonna put it.
Well, I mean, yeah. I grew up, we had
Oh, wait, there was one here.
a lodge.
The rec lodge, yeah, that was not, that was more like a.
It
wasn't that big.
Down around.
It's still one little building then. Okay, that's something that we. Starting ball rolling to try to figure something
I
out.
just figured out it was big, but I don't know, you know. how much
And then we find out. I mean, I think that's kind of what bumped it. We get to some of the discussion, is that the school is supposed to be able to facilitate all those community events.
They charge for this stack as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, they,
yeah, like a janitorial fee probably.
yeah,
Yep.
Um, It would be, is there any way? With ones that aren't working, with the. All, create some way to share them with the ones that aren't being used. Nothing, like. I know a lot of them. Are emergency So they're always gonna be in a significant event, they're all gonna be needed. But like between, and I'm sorry, Eric's not here, but between the OEM vehicles, the first responder vehicle, the chief's vehicle, is there, and maybe even some of the police vehicles, I don't know if that's an issue because of some of the police equipment, but to be able to share those vehicles with the, if for the first responder to use something else other than have a separate vehicle that's only used during that part of the day, then yeah. I don't know, Sarah.
Don't think it would be possible to do that. I mean, the chief's vehicle, you need that to, it's at his house, it's ready for him, he's gonna roll when he rolls.
The first responder vehicle is also used to go to schooling. So it's not just used for the first responder. And it's also used for people that respond to the station. They need to get out to a fire scene, they take that. It does have some of our additional medical equipment in it. And we also use that for responding out of town and somebody doesn't make the truck, they'll bring that. So that is used more than for first responder. They're all fitted out specific to their, so we've been able to fit out the police work. Okay. Yeah, but some of that information on the computer. That's what the computer is one. That's what I have. Thinking out loud, if you will, and just trying to not have a lot of vehicles that, again, aren't always being used.
Do we look at auctions, like auctions of, vehicles that aren't used somewhere else or like something fairly new?
I mean,
Purchase them instead of buying brand new or not much either? We have a very difficult time buying an auction. It's quite the process. And we don't buy used vehicles because we use them forever.
Correct.
For the chief and Quinn will tell you, I'm here, there's a 1999
Yeah,
replace.
1991 Tahoe.
Take a look at the chief.
Get depreciation anywhere, right? We, because we don't pay taxes, there's nothing, we don't
Yeah.
appreciate anything. We pretend they never define in value in government.
It's not a first responder vehicle.
No, it got brought up, whatever.
I think eventually it probably will.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an old vehicle,
yes,
it's a first responder vehicle. It's moving now and thank God it didn't break because it started moving now.
we inherited that from the rescue squad. When I went out of business. So that's really, yeah, well. It's 99, that's a 99 as well.
And it's working well right now.
Right now, yes. That's starting to run, but have some other issues. Forever, so it's still got 5 minutes left.
It doesn't pay for it to buy new.
No, but we do leave passenger cars at times, the police vehicles, only because it allows us to get more with the smaller budget appropriation. Right, we'll do 1 year, one the next, 3 the following year, and do it that way. The reason that SUVs are all learned here is because the bond law allows us to capitalize them. Yeah, the trucks and those types of things. If we were moved to different lighter vehicles, I guess you would say passenger vehicles, we could pay for them out of our operating budget. They're a lot less expensive than the biggest.
Council President, the only opportunity I can think of for sharing is the code car. Right now it's used by employees in that department in construction code enforcement, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It is logoed for that department, but certainly if there's a need on the weekend for a small SUV, that vehicle would be there.
Yeah, it's the only one that's not outfitted with
Correct.
specific equipment.
Fancy to say it has a backup camera.
You like,
And I don't know how you.
On the for roads and drainage improvements, we just have in 1 year for it, is there?
I combined them
Okay,
for 2024, just kind of level out. We have plenty.
okay,
We still have funding available on appropriations prior years that haven't totally expended.
okay,
Yeah, and we want to make sure we put some of our road programs, especially sewer projects in here, they have a longer term life. Cars only have 5 years. We don't want to put just all vehicles in one ordinance, because then we have to pay it back in 5 years. When we stretch it out, and it makes our annual payments, we're not in control. So that's why I have my numbers over there, going to have to like on it. I would need to try and figure out how to smooth it all out. How to, yeah, keep our debt service, payment relatively stable, so it's not driving our tax rate up. Kind of like a big puzzle. You need to tell me what you want to do, and the departments tell me when absolutely they need them, and then we're trying to work it out.
how much do we have? Or do you have that, how much is available for 2023 for road, I mean? Yeah,
There's still about $500,000 combined with the drainage,
Yeah.
and also the sewer. And because we're still working on it. Financing for the
for this year's road program.
pump station, we're doing the slip lining project, so that is all previously funded, and we still have money available.
Okay. Oh, I mean, part of it, we'd be able to do theoretically, would be for 60 we're paying now in the operating budget.
Well, we'd
But
still,
the idea is that number's supposed to be dropped considerably, so part of it.
but we would still be paying that. And then we would have to make that capital investment at the same time, simultaneously, so we would have to budget 300,000 for potential equipment for. So, and that's not in. If that's somewhere,
There's also other ancillary costs, aren't there? With our dispatch, we've got our CAD system, we've got our entity licensing, we get all that other fancy stuff that goes with that.
yeah,
So that would be an additional cost.
In
as
addition-
well, so make sure you include all those in your cost out.
We don't have those.
we don't have the.
But it's not gonna be for this budget.
Does that sound like, that doesn't sound like a 23 event then, does it? We're waiting, we have meetings, we're waiting. So we have, yeah, we don't have any, we don't have all one number to have in a year. Months.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
So all that has to be changed.
They don't have them. You would have to buy all. Right, so that, we don't have it.
Oh, the roof, yeah, that, I'm thinking.
What wasn't discussed in that meeting, like Dawn said, is all the license issues and.
Being your own dispatch center.
Right.
That's it, all those are
All
included in our
included.
fee now.
Like,
Right.
You have to buy all these. At each individual. For running car, security, software.
That wasn't discussed in our meeting. And do you think, is that something that they would have in the packet? I mean, is that something that we would have to do, or is that?
I think that would be factored in, but we'd have to, we have to have further meetings. Certainly. Factor that in.
That's the same, they're anticipating the same CAD software. Or
Yeah.
they're- Okay. Because we've already gone through the data conversion cost.
Right.
That was the next, right? It's been two transitions and
Right. We do own the information.
Part of the emergency management requirement.
And also, we talked about this in a lot of our resilience planning, too. I don't know where all our infrastructure is, so we certainly have plans for the sewer side.
Okay.
And the determinant would be appropriate to go for the, and stormwater side, and we also have new requirements right here, for the groundwater. We require a lot to have something like this in place to be very helpful.
Right.
Complying with all the new regulations that the people came out with.
We don't have any. 2 months before we even see a quote.
Okay.
I don't even think it's an issue.
And then Linwood, I don't know, Linwood's probably not even budgeting.
Maybe discussion of a grant on the agenda for Tuesday, but it's a reimbursement grant, so
For what we spent.
for equipment.
So if we don't have anything, then we would have to.
We wouldn't, for,
Yes, and then,
afford, I guess that we have the money, but we're gonna be paying. It's not like we walk in one day and just flip switch. There's a lot,
yeah,
there's a lot. to deal
Without doing it now, it's more work later.
all right, so we need to,
No, I haven't meant, we're during the transition phase, I think that's longer than most people actually anticipate, they're like, oh, we're gonna go switch to this, next week we'll be up and running, and it's just like, right, chief. Well, chief, we've gone through this. Public Works is, they have their radios as well, I mean, the whole city is involved with this. And then you have the county that's looking into a grant to do a consolidation for just fire services on their dispatch, which makes no sense to just do it like that. So then we're gonna have those issues as well. So. Lord knows what radios they'll end up with and all that kind of stuff.
okay, so, it's not gonna get to the way into this budget.
I would imagine the first phase would be equipment, facilities, investments in that, and that we can get money for. It would take us meetings and a 20-day establishment. That's not all.
Cost, there needs to be like a critical path built into this, so you guys know. We're gonna have 6 months of double expenses.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be financed. It needs to-
Right. It's gonna overlap.
That's part of what. Evaluation cost savings.
You remember our dispatch cost only went up 3% this year. If we were involved with the joint venture and It would have gone up 22% for health benefits, 17% for pension, all that too.
They're gonna be based on number of calls.
So, well, we haven't gotten that far, it's supposed to be.
We have more calls than that.
That's 50. Too much space is perfect, actually.
Like, they captured what everybody was able to. I didn't miss anybody. I guess we need to make a decision about what we want to do with the vehicle because of the crazy economy. Do we want to do some financing involved now? For that, and then. We waited so long, we have to go. Yeah. So that's why we're going on.
Worst being pushed back another year, it's not gonna be available.
These vehicles aren't gonna be available?
The salesman said that there's no 2023 vehicles available. They're waiting for the price list of 2024, which should come out in July. So, but usually when 2024 vehicles might come out in October,
Yeah.
we're in there. I mean, it could get pushed another year.
Okay.
Right, as soon as they're available, we do that. You're just looking for whatever.
We prefer Ford.
Yeah.
Over Dodge. One piece of film in '99 has been sitting in the yard for 2 years. It's so rough that we had to take it off the road. We use it as parts now. Like, just for other people.
Eventually.
But it's going already. That's the front end, the thickness and cab,
And I have the brand name and the model number just to give everybody a reference, because that's what we're replacing. It doesn't necessarily mean.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna, we bid it or quote them and find the best price. So I don't want anybody to think we're.
And we have another dump or whatever's available.
We do have a newer one we purchased 2 years ago. That's $450. It's a nice truck. Then we have another gas dump that's in poor condition. The majority of the fleet's 20+ years old. A couple of.
All right, well, that's all I'm saying, that's the leave them in, because then when we do become available. Again. Otherwise, we're going to see. So we will be available, then we will be able to purchase from May. Yes. Even though you're not getting for your. Yeah.
It's just the authority to spend, we're not borrowing money, it's not costing us anything, it's just the authority to spend on the bus.
Biggest factor only. What anyone else do? Again, what is the capital?
And under the DPW vehicles, there's 2023 costs.
That unify utility? When you were. When you were.
I didn't give you which one. it was.
$3,500, utility.
Yeah, that's one of the old silver trucks.
Replace the 2002.
That public works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two.
I did it to smooth it out. I'll talk to Quinn to see which ones are the most pressing, although he'll tell you they're all pressing. So I'll say which one really, really, really needs to be really. Yeah,
These are state contracts.
Did it all. Utility.
that's how we get our estimates.
Yeah.
Then I'll call around and ask and talk to the people we buy from, bought from before, and then we come up with an estimate.
They're definitely a lot less than retail. Right. Your question, yeah, it sounds like you captured everything.
Well, and when we use the ordinance, it's gonna be more general, it's gonna be public works vehicles and equipment, it's gonna be public safety vehicles, it's gonna be recreation equipment. So there's flexibility in that as well.
Anyone, we take your name and address for the record and. Verify that you proceed. Anyone on Zoom for you?
Anyone in Zoom wishing to speak, please raise your hand.
You know, one meeting from 16. Our next council meeting is March 7th. 6 p.m. work session, the regular meeting, the following. And March 9th is our next budget workshop if necessary, so that'll be forthcoming.
Do we think we need,
Depends on state.
we won't know that by March 9th. We're not gonna know that. by
Yeah, it's
March
hard.
9th.
I don't think we can do anything for March 9th then.
So are you happy with the budget you have right now?
Yes.
Is the budget.
We have anything set aside the federal budget meeting?
We did. We had a third budget meeting.
Yeah, the only one we had, the only one we had.
But there's some, why don't we just keep it, and if something comes up, yeah.
State. I was just looking to see if we had already picked any additional dates. It doesn't, it did not, that's right.
Given the timeline, introduction, you need to introduce at the second meeting in March. You know, it's 21st. We discuss budget items during that meeting. We will.
We could do it at that meeting. If anything potentially came up.
Sounds like we don't have any. Is there anybody, any objections to the budget as it stands right now? No. We are at 1.5 cents. I mean, we've been able to hold it steady for a lot of years. We have a lot of additions this year and 1.5. These are all things we probably pushed off several times. Yes, no, yeah, Bueller. Okay, well, we have, how do you feel about the
The decision maker, I think,
as far as our surplus and
we are target range. I think it's our surplus balance as a percentage of our operating budget. How stable it's been is very, attractive to the rating agencies. That was when we issued bonds. I think it positions us well for next year for some unexpected items that arose. I mean, I think because of your planning in the past with how conservative you stimulus the surplus and investing it back in the sewer system and the infrastructure, we were able to absorb a lot of these unexpected increases in the health benefits and everything else that happened this year with really a minimal impact. We went through COVID unscathed, relatively unscathed. Court revenue fell, but I mean, very strong financially.
and that rate. Must be likely to drop, but there's great potential to drop based on. Yeah.
State aid.
We're at what, 1.5 now?
What state agency has it before? Hey,
The normal.
the normal, there's just flat this year.
That's flat for this year. It went up 32,000. You'll remember last year that the state was lauding themselves for giving back the energy receipts back. Northfield probably lost millions since that was changed, but we got 39,000 back. So yeah. All good. And they gave it to us last year and said, you can't use it last year. You can't use it. Next year you could use it. So that's why it's in the budget. But we did actually get the tax from the state.
So what we can do is, I would say we should put something in our work session. In case we have to discuss anything on the budget, in 19.
So we'll put that on the workshop for the 21st, right?
Yes,
Okay, got it.
That will give us time.
that'll give us, if anything happens.
We can discuss file, we get our file,
Yeah.
here's our final opinions on the budget. So,
We'll make it work.
what?
Okay.
Okay. We can have it on the seventh work session as well, can we? I mean. Did anybody bring anything on?
Guarantee nothing's gonna change in 4 days, but I'm not gonna change it.
Okay. All right.
20.
And then with that. Do I have what to do?
Motion.
Believe it, all in favor?
Got you, Greg.
Aye.